2 Central, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. 24/7 over there at jiggyjaguar.com. Oh boy, we're going to go to our next guest, our first guest of this broadcast day. Listening to me, Barbara Sternig is going to be with us. We are going to try to get a hold of Babs Sternig, as I have her written down in my book here. She has got a brand new book. We are going to go to talk to Barbara Sternig here in just a few seconds. Live here on our world famous Jiggy Jaguar Radio broadcast. So let's go to Barbara Sternig. She is going to join us. We have got to give her a holla holla, as they say, on the telephone. So we're going to call Barbara Sternig and see if we can get a hold of Barbara Sternig. We're going to see if we can find Barbara Sternig.
Hello.
Barbara, how are you? It's James Lowe giving you a call. How are you, my friend?
Oh my gosh, how are you?
Pretty good, actually. I have got you down in my book today for an interview.
Hello?
I've got you. How are you, Barbara? Can you hear us?
Breaking up here. I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna holler. I'm gonna hang up and call you right back here. So her phone is breaking up, so we are gonna call her right back. We're gonna do this. We're gonna position the microphone right in front of my face.
Let's try that.
Barbara, can you hear me, my friend?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. Well, I wanted to talk to you about your brand new book. Do you have a few moments here?
Well, I do, yes.
Because I got an email from you a couple months ago, and I wrote you down in my book here, and I wanted to give you a call and talk to you about this brand new book. It's a tale of a bad affair romanced. Tell me a little bit about this.
Hello?
Hello, Barbara. You still with us? Your phone, I think, is breaking up.
Yes, I know. I think my phone is getting.
I think your phone's breaking up. Well, let me call you on our other number, and we'll see if we can try that from another number. That is kind of what I thought was going to take place today, but we will see. Okay.
Let's hope this works.
Let's hope this works. Barbara, can you hear me at all, my friend?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I've got you. I've got you loud and clear, my friend. I just want to hear about your book.
Okay. Well, yeah, so that's what it is. It's a slim volume, and it also contains a lot of poems that kind of express all of the turmoil and emotions.
Fantastic. Well, it is a great book. We have got Barbara Sternig with us today. She is amazing, and she has got an incredible new book. It's a fiction that rings pretty damn true, and the award-winning author Barbara Sternig joins us here on the phone talking about her incredible book. She is a former National Enquirer senior reporter there in Hollywood. She wrote Secrets of a Tabloid Reporter, and she's got this brand new book out. So this book that you've just written, tell me a little bit about why you decided to write this book.
Well, I'll tell you, James, after many years of being here in Hollywood and talking not only to my friends but to stars about their romantic woes, and even going through some of my own, of course, I just decided I want to write something to express what people go through in their romantic lives. And sometimes you just meet somebody that just hits you in the heart so hard, and you just can't break away, but that person is bad for you. And I think it's a oft-repeated tale which people can relate to, and these are the comments that I've been getting from its readers, that it's just something that every romantic soul has gone through if they're brave enough, and if they just have too much romance in their hearts to let it go. They just want it, but it's bad for them. does that ring a bell? Anybody?
So, how does this book compare to some of the other books you've written in the past?
Well, I'll tell you, the difference is I have 3 other books. There are 2 about my experiences on the National Enquirer. As you said, Secrets of a Tabloid Reporter, that was the first one.
Yeah.
And then I had so many people say, we want more, so I wrote a sequel to that book, and that one is called Celebrity Secrets of a National Enquirer Reporter. And both of those books are available on my website, which is simply my name, barbarasternig.com. But then I also had, when my father died, he was an amazing chronicler of the world around him. He was an educator, and he was an avid amateur photographer who left these amazing photo albums, not only of our family, which was a big family, 8 kids, but of the world around him. So I kind of spent quite a bit of time going through these albums, and I selected a couple hundred most evocative pictures, and I wrote a book called On Chestnut Street, a 1940s childhood in words and pictures. And it just tells the story of my father and his early life and our early life of our family. That one's also on the website. So as you can tell, those 3 books are completely different from this new one. Couldn't be more different.
We have got Barbara Sternig with us today. Romanced, I guess is how you pronounce this. The tale
right,
of a bad affair.
And it's that word, I made up that word, romance. It's a combination of romance and angst. That angst is the German word for anxiety.
Well,
so it's a
what's been some goals for this book? What were some of your goals when you put this book together?
Well, I guess my goal is just to share this universal experience of lost love or troubled love with readers. And, especially I suppose you might say it's a woman's book. It's certainly from a feminine point of view. However, the men who have read it have found it. In fact, I just had a reader send me an email yesterday saying that he found it to be like an Asian dance with many layers, and that it was a universal experience, and that even men can know and have known. So I guess I just wanted to share that kind of part of life with readers. It's a different part of life than your professional life, of course, or than your childhood life. It's really a part of your growing up and adult life. So that was my goal, just to share. That's all.
That's awesome. We have got Barbara Sternig with us today. Romanced is the latest from her, the tale of a bad affair. She joins us live here on the telephone talking a little bit about this incredible book. So what has been the feedback from folks that you that have picked the book up, that have gotten in touch with you? What's been the feedback like?
Well, the feedback so far has been almost to a reader. They say, I couldn't put it down. I read it in one sitting. It's a short book. It's a slim volume, and actually, if you have time, you can read it in one sitting. And that has been a universal comment that I've gotten, is that I sat down and I couldn't put it down. The people that have been more thoughtful have even compared it to, some more classical literature, not in the way it's written, but just in the thoughts expressed. And you know what I liked about it is I really tried to step into the shoes of my protagonist, and I wrote poems that fitted around the narrative of the book. And so several people have said they loved some of the poems, and it applied to a romance that they've had. So these are the comments. So far, so good. To be honest, James, I had no idea how people would react to it. So I've been very, very happy that everybody has really liked it so far, even the men.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It is Romanced, the tale of a bad affair. Barbara Sternig with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. And so, Barbara, talk to me about some of your inspiration and some of your heroes as far as writing goes.
Oh, you know who my favorite writer is, and it's nothing to do with, he's a fiction writer, Thomas Harris. He wrote Silence of the Lambs and Red Dragon. Are you familiar with those books? They were made into movies.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
his genre is kind of really horror stories, but what I admire about him is he has the most magnificent vocabulary. I'm a professional writer. I've been a journalist all my life and an author now. I sort of think I have a pretty good vocabulary. I certainly use it in my writing. But oh my God, I looked up words over and over again while I was reading Thomas Harris. He came up with words that said exactly what he wanted to say, but they're words that nobody uses, and I tried to write them down so I could remember them and kind of use them myself. I don't think I really have, but he's very interesting to read. He expresses himself so well, and he weaves a story so well. I'll tell you one thing, James, that I learned in writing my first fiction. It's much harder than nonfiction. It really is, because you have to create a world. Whereas if you're writing nonfiction, you write the facts, and that's my background as a journalist. Of course, you write what happened. But however, if you're writing fiction, you have to figure out the plot. You have to figure out subplots. You have to create characters in your mind and make them come alive somehow. So that was the challenge of it, and I think I'll try it again. But I'm going to take a break here and do another nonfiction in the meantime.
That's awesome. We have got Barbara Sternig with us today. So what is next for you as an author?
Well, I'll tell you. I have a couple of books in mind, and one of them is a sequel to the book which contains all of those wonderful vintage photographs that my dad took, and I'm going to try to recreate the 1950s through his photographs and tell about life in the 50s. For the other one, I really had to kind of go into the minds of my aunties and uncles and grandma and grandpa even, and find out what was really going on back in the 40s. But the 50s, I remember the 50s as a little child, and so I should be able to put some of my own impressions in there, first going to school and things like that, and using my dad's pictures, not only of people, but the fashions, the cars, the buildings. We grew up in a suburb of Chicago, so we often went to the city. He has lots of pictures of Chicago as it was in those many, many years ago. How many is that? That's 70 years ago already. So it's quite interesting to see that through, the eyes of really not a professional photographer, but somebody who was just an interested man and who was curious, and he was a very good photographer, and he caught the mood of places. So that's one. And then the other one, James, is I have two aunties that died way before I was born, and they died as children of tuberculosis. And I found some letters that my grandmother wrote regarding the illness that her two little twin daughters had. And the twins, and she says how the twins had absolutely no idea how sick they were and that they were actually dying. And she was trying to be so cheerful for them, and she kind of just purged herself of some of her pain and emotions through the letters, which I fell heir to those letters. So I don't know if I can write that book or not, because I don't know if I can create the context, but I'm going to try it anyway. That's one of them. And then, there's always more National Enquirer adventures to talk about, that's for sure.
I will have to say that your National Enquirer stuff I think is amazing, and the fact that you survived all of that is even more of an amazing situation.
Well, it is, and as a matter of fact, last year, or was it even the year before? Now it would be the year before. Magnolia Productions created a CNN documentary called "Scandalous: The True Story of the National Enquirer," and I am one of the featured reporters that they interviewed quite extensively. And I think that documentary, "Scandalous," really tells what it was like inside, because all of the other reporters, there were maybe about 5 of us, all of us were no longer there, so we could speak freely. We actually hadn't signed non-disclosure agreements like everybody signs today at the Enquirer. So we could speak freely about our experiences there, and some of them were fantastic. Believe me, I stayed there 20 years, and it was an amazing career. The one thing that I will always, always be so grateful for. At the National Enquirer, you had a hard job because nobody wanted to talk to you. The celebrities feared it. Some of them used it really, really well and got lots of publicity. Others just would put the phone down. You know, their press agents would put the phone down on you. So it was challenging to get the story. Because it was so challenging, our boss felt that to get the proper talent to do that work, he had to pay them, very, very good salaries, and he had to support them 100%, and he did. Anything we needed to get our story, we had it. If it was a Learjet, we had it. We had amazing backup in the office. So that doesn't exist anymore. The Enquirer has changed a lot. That was the owner and founder, Gene Pope. That's the way he ran it. But he died many years ago now, and the paper has changed hands many times. So it's a watered. Well, I mean, it's still. I haven't seen it for a while, to be honest, but I think it still goes for the scoops. That's what we were always in search of. The blockbuster, the front page. That's what we always needed to get. We were always under pressure to get that. And in the documentary, we tell the tales from both sides, the good and the bad. And I think it's very fascinating. And some of the other reporters, Tony Brenna, David Wright, Jerry, I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he was the bureau chief here. We had really great people on the paper. A lot of my colleagues came right from Fleet Street, and these were those bulldog British reporters. And they got the goods. I'm telling you. Well, so did I. That's why I was in Hollywood. That was really my prime métier that I covered before I joined the National Enquirer. I had been. Do you ever remember an early television gossip reporter named Rona Barrett?
Yes, I think I've interviewed Rona Barrett at one point or another.
Well, I was her writer, and I was her leg woman, and so I was out on the town every night, and that's where I really got my Hollywood reporting background in those years that I was Rona's right-hand man and her reporter and her writer, most of all. So that was really what got me hired at the Enquirer. They needed somebody who knew Hollywood and could report on it. So, but it was a great experience, and I hope I expressed it in all of its different elements in my books. So anyhow, that's it. And so, Celebrity Secrets of a National Enquirer reporter and Secrets of a Tabloid reporter. Those are those two books. And I hope people will have a chance to go on my website. It gives you a link to the documentary also if you go on there. And you can have a read of each one of the books. There's excerpts in there of each one. And so hope everybody has a little time to do that.
Well, I'll tell you, you have got quite the deal here, my friend, and
thank you.
I really appreciate you making some time for us today, and thanks for writing this great book, and congratulations on this incredible book, Romanced.
Oh, thank you so much, James, and please send me your address, so I want to send you a copy or two of that. You can give them to a few of your friends.
Yes, and I also have, I'm forwarding your email to a few radio people that I know, and hopefully they can get you on their shows at some stage of the game. But thanks for making some time for us, Barbara, and I will talk to you soon. Have yourself wonderful day, my friend.
That would be great. Really appreciate it. Take care.
Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. There she goes. That is Barbara Sternig. The fantastic Barbara Sternig joins us here on our big broadcast. So let's do this. We're going to take a brief time out, and when we come back, we are going to figure it out. We've got more coming up.